We have a very few minutes for questions. Let me open up the question box and see what we have. This is a question for John Becker, I guess. Is just-in-time training an innovation of PennDOT's, or is it a technical support available for all state agencies that can be requested as part of a contract with a concrete pavement association?
The special provision that was developed by the Turnpike and by PennDOT, both for new construction and for reconstruction, we did capture some information on the concept of doing just-in-time training for project-specific matters out of Washington State and also Utah. The special provision, again, as I mentioned, is developed in a manner it's not sole source. The department or the Turnpike, they decide to put provisions into a contract, and it's a line item the same way a contractor would bid dollars per square yard for paving or dollars per square yard for patching. There's a line item specifically in the contract that contractor puts that item, the dollar amount that they're bidding on that. And you've got multiple contractors and everyone's hungry for work, so everyone's sharpening their pencils and bidding work items as best and as economically as they can possibly accomplish the work.
This one for Chris. Do the specifications allow or require for specific product manufacturers to be on site or part of the training?
Point in time, we haven't had, I guess, manufacturers so much. The exception of I shouldn't say we haven't. We've had admixture representatives there, as John mentioned. We have had fly ash cement producers there that if there were issues, they were able to address any questions that would have arisen. As far as calling them out, they're invited to participate, whether they do or not. That's their prerogative, but we encourage participation from all entities that are involved with the project.
This one is for John Donahue. How do you know to core the low air content in the concrete example?
Well, in that case there, we're seeing a lot of somewhat random cracking on the surface, and we wanted to find out if this was just maybe a scaling issue or if it was deeper seated. So, and it was more prevalent. It wasn't as uniform a crack pattern as we'd see for decracking, but it still was occurring mostly near the joint or crack, or basically where an area where water could infiltrate the same way you would see it on a pavement that was decracking. So that was kind of the smoking gun we used as justification for popping a few cores to see what was happening.
John, do you have any specs on partial depth patching that we could make available through the National Center?
Yeah, sure. We more or less copied what Minnesota was doing, but we've made a few tweaks of our own to it. But we did pattern after Minnesota because they were kind of the leaders in that technology about 20 years ago when we started.
So for the people who have asked about that specification, if you Google TSP2, we will post some specifications there for partial depth patching. This one is for Paul. Out of 160 miles, how many miles of concrete streets are rehabbed on average in Minneapolis? And what is the average annual budget?
Great question. I would say on average right now, we're only doing about 3 or 4 miles a year. And our average budget stretching over 2 years is, I believe, it's somewhere in the 3 million mark. We're not getting caught up too much. So it's going to have to take a concerted effort to get through 160 miles.
We all understand that reality. We are out of time, and I want to take a moment to thank our presenters. I think the content has been excellent, and I want to thank you all for participating.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.